I think I'm starting to finally figure out what my next step is. So, for context, I've been editing for about 3 years, and in that time, I've gone from editing random shitty ass Fortnite videos for like five, $10. I did that for an entire year, and now I'm working with the largest guys in the world. Where I'm currently working with the Cybermen who have about 20 million subscribers, and I've worked with larger guys before. My largest client is, I believe, they're at around 38 million subscribers. We'll say 40, so it sounds cooler. Um, Basically, I'm saying I've worked with like some large guys, and I'll be completely honest. I For the last 6 months or so, I haven't really felt like I want more in editing, if that makes sense. And for a while, I'll be real, I was kind of lost. It was, what do I have to work on? And I recently just came back from a trip to Morocco, Marrakesh. I went. It was only a 5 day trip, and I took my friend Eros, who's another editor. He makes over 10K a month as well. And I stayed with two guys. They're Spanish. One is one of the largest self improvement YouTubers in Spain, and the other was his editor. For context, they're both fucking huge in terms of muscle mass. Like, they do calisthenics, they're amazing. And just staying with these guys for like 5 days, it really just reignited me, inspired me so much. A lot of people talk about how you are the five people that you spend the most time with, and I preach the same thing as well, and I believe in it. But it was only after this trip that I really felt the effects of it, because I came out of that trip and I genuinely just felt so inspired. When I hear Alex, so the guy I was staying with, him talking about his sort of business, what he's doing with his movement, like, it felt so inspiring. When I speak to Eros, it's like me and him bouncing off ideas of each other, which we normally do. When I see Carlos, he does calisthenics, like him doing fucking handstand push-ups and transitioning into like a front level, like he was amazing. And I was starting to think like what my next move is, because I'll be completely honest, I've gotten to a point now in my life where money isn't like the main motivator. I'm 19 years old. I'm basically like a young dumb idiot, and I have a little bit too much money to my name. And this sounds like a really weird thing, but I hope I don't sound too egotistical while I talk about this. But I just want to kind of share my thought process with this, because I promise this is going to involve you, and like if you're an editor, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this, it's going to involve you a lot. And I think you're really going to like the idea of this. But I have to give you some context before I do. So I'm not from like a fucking rich area. I wasn't like some trust fund kid. I had to basically work for my own money. And I started with like this crappy little laptop where I had to put literally, like, if I wanted to do anything on my laptop, I'd have to wait like 3 to 5 working days, bro. I would finish the video in my room. It would overheat. It would like lag, all of that. And to render it, a lot of the time, what I'd have to do is, because it would crash if I tried rendering it in my room, I would go downstairs, I'd put it in the fridge or the freezer if I had to, and I would leave it in there while it rendered. My mom used to get so pissed at me because she thought it was gonna break the freezer, which it never did, but she was probably right. And essentially, that's what I had to do in order for me to render videos. And since then, like now, I have my dream PC setup. I travel the world, so I've got my dream PC setup. You know those like top 10 setup tours of teenagers, top 10 $5,000 plus setups, like all those YouTube videos you can see. I have a setup like that now, which is like I used to dream of that shit when I was younger, but like we couldn't afford a PC. But I've got that at home, and also I've got this, which is like my laptop I travel with. And right now I'm at a stage where I basically just travel the world editing, working for my clients. I work like 1 day a week. Um, I make like, if I work like 1 day a week, I make about 6,000 a month. If I work like properly throughout the week, I make about 12. So yeah, and the thing is, I'm not a materialistic guy. I'm not sure if you're like this. You probably are if you watch my stuff, but like this black t-shirt I'm wearing, I authentically just wear this everywhere I go, and I don't really care about designer. I just like wearing clean shit, and I like being able to buy what I want. I don't mind not having something, but I don't like not having something because I can't afford it. And I've gone to a point now where after you reach like honestly like $5,000-6,000 a month, you basically can move to any country you want. You sort yourself out financially. You fulfill all your childhood needs where you wanted something when you were a kid, your parents couldn't afford it, and now you can get it. Like you kind of fulfill all of that. And I remember after I hit that sort of couple thousand a month, it was after I hit a couple thousand a month, I had like this sort of existential crisis. You might have had this as well. For the guys that are making a little bit of money from editing, you'll have this feeling of, you thought you wanted to make money, you thought that that's what you really wanted, but after you started making money, you realize you don't actually need that much. Like everyone sort of talks about that 10k, 20k, 30, however many k a month. Honestly, after a few k a month, life is good, especially if you're kind of younger like me. I'm 19. Um, and I had this existential crisis because I was like, bro, I feel zero motivation. I would be sitting down to work, and you know that feist you have inside of you just because you need money and then you work. Like, oh, I can't afford to have a meal out. Like, I can't afford to like take this girl out. I can't afford to be able to buy the clothes I want. Like, that literally causes you pain, and then you work, and it works for you well. It's motivation. But then after you fulfill that desire, you're kind of lost and you can't work anymore. What I found, I'll tell you the sort of solution that I found to that. Once you fulfilled your own needs, it kind of becomes you fulfilling the needs of others. It becomes more like the fulfillment side of things. So for me, what got me from like sort of a couple k a month to sort of 10ish k, yeah, around like 10, 11k, was purely just I wanted to do it for my family. Like I said, my family, we're not from like a rich area. Don't get me wrong, there was always like food on the table, but I grew up like watching my parents kind of struggle. And when I got old enough to sort of understand it, because when you're young, you don't really understand that your parents are struggling, if you know what I mean. They kind of hide it from you. They try their best to make sure food's always on the table. Like, if there was a toy that you wanted, your parents would kind of say, like, oh, that's not really that nice. Like, maybe you shouldn't get it. But when you're older, you realize, like, shit, it wasn't because he didn't want to get it for me. It's because we literally couldn't afford it. And when you're at that age, it's like, fuck, like, I need to kind of give back. And for a while, that became my motivation. Like, that was the next level of motivation I needed to grind my ass off. And I'll be honest, it worked. Like, what I used to do, I would literally like have like a journal like this, just a little book, where I would write down why I work. What I call this practice, I actually teach it to a lot of the boys that I like coach and stuff. It's called a find your why practice. Fundamentally, you will never work unless you have a reason to, because it's against human nature to put yourself into more pain than you need to be. We are pain avoiding machines. Like, your brain is literally biologically encoded for you to avoid pain. And if there is no reason for you to do something painful, it's not going to do that painful thing. And ultimately, you working is going to be painful. That's how the economy fucking runs. It's you are taking away someone else's pain. So a creator has a pain. They struggle with editors. They struggle with like having good work. They struggle with getting videos out on time. Like, these are pains that the creator has. And as an editor, we're getting more into like definitions of entrepreneurship now. But you might find this interesting if you like this rant. You have someone else's pain. You have your own pains in your own life. Yeah. But as an entrepreneur, your job is basically you are not only dealing with your own pain, but you are taking someone else's pain and dealing with it for yourself. And to take someone else's pain away from them, that is valuable. If you had pain taken away from you, that's valuable. If same way, if a creator or client had pain taken away from them, that is valuable. And in the capitalist society that we live in, whether you agree with it or not, when value is exchanged, it's basically like money is a way to facilitate that exchange of value. So the more pain you can take away from someone, the more money you will make, because the more pain you alleviate, the more value you create, the more value you create, the more money you make. So entrepreneurship is basically just a game of who the hell can eat the most pain without basically wanting to die. And the more pain you eat, the more money you make. So just think about, like, let's think about like Amazon, right? Imagine you right now want to order a phone case. You could go to the store. So you have to like put your shoes on, you dress nicely, make sure you don't stink as shit. You'd open the door, go outside, find a store that you'd had it. Then you'd have to look around. Maybe it's the right price, maybe it's not. Then you have to do some price comparison by going to different shops. Essentially, it's really painful for you to even find something as small as a phone case. On Amazon, you click a few buttons, you have almost infinite amount of phone cases, all at different prices. You're able to price compare with 2 clicks, like, and then it comes to you the next day. It's gotten rid of all those steps of you even needing to leave your house. So it's a lot of pain that it alleviates, and it does it for a lot of people. That's Amazon. So therefore, they make a lot of money. So it's like the more pain you alleviate, the more money you make. But the problem is, it's really fucking painful because you're having to eat it. You working feels painful because you're taking on the creator's pain. The video you're editing is like, it's like a source of pain that you're having to eat, and your brain won't want to do it. But the only reason it will want to do it is if the pain of something else is greater than the pain that you're having to eat for this client. And this gets kind of fucking dark, but it's like you kind of journal about bad shit that happens if you don't work. And for me, it was like me not being able to support my family in if they're in like a financial bit of a fuck up. Imagine imagine there's like a surgery that you or your family member needs, and it's one of those ones where it's just expensive as hell. Even in the UK, we have like free healthcare, but it's honestly crap. In the US, you guys are cooked because you actually have to pay for it no matter what. But in the UK, it's like unless you go private healthcare, you're waiting like weeks for surgery, probably months if you get it at all. I know friends that had like even small things like their nose was like fucked up and he had to fix it, but he waited years for surgery on his nose, and it was like basic free healthcare's fucked, and you have to go private if you want anything good. Imagine your family needs that, like a life. They have like a life-saving surgery that they need, and you can't afford private healthcare. So now your family member, the person that you love most, is literally suffering for weeks. And if it's something life-threatening, like it's kind of good. Um, like I know I'm making light of the situation the way I say it, but when you really start journaling about these things, you realize it genuinely is a possibility. And when you can logically in your brain link the prevention of this bad thing from the prevention of this bad thing and link it back logically to all the way down to you working. So, okay, I wouldn't be in that shitty situation if I had money. I would have money if my business is doing well. My business would be doing well if I worked consistently. I would work consistently, like, if I did this work right now. So it's like this work right now, quite literally, logically, makes that bad thing not happen. And if you can, it's really painful in the moment, and you won't want to do it. But I promise, it's one of those things you feel like shit. And honestly, if you really go deep into this journaling thing, where journaling, if you don't know, if you just write on a paper about this, it fucks you up for the whole day because you realize that that shit could actually happen. Um, I like to personally talk about like family, like future kids. Honestly, even like women that I meet, where not in like a weird degenerate way, but like it's just girls that I want to meet, or like even guy friends that I just want to be with. Not be with. Oh, that sounds so gay. But like that I just want to like, let's say, network with. Like imagine you want to network with someone. One of the best things with networking is you have to basically, if you have someone that feels like out of your league in terms of like you want to network with them, like they're like a fucking millionaire, you can't really look like a bum. So what you have to do is you buy the meal, even though they're the more rich one, you buy the meal almost as like a little gesture, and it makes you like them like you more. To pay to get into higher level areas, higher level events, like this, I didn't even mean to talk about this. Like next month, yeah, exactly a month from now, I'm going to this mastermind, which is like fucking 15 grand, like 15k pounds. So it's like $20,000 for like 3 days. I'm gonna meet literal guys making 100, 200, 300k a month just because I have the money to spend on that. So like, I wouldn't be able to do that if I wasn't making money, and if I won't make the money if I don't work. So therefore, I work to make sure those bad things don't happen, and that sort of gets you far. And I'll be real, I kind of after a while, I kind of lost that again, especially this last 6 months, because I made my first 10k. I think was it December 2022 or 2023. It was one of those, but essentially it's been like over a year since then. Yes, it was 2022. Um, it's like I don't need the money. Now it's like my family doesn't need the money either. I've sent my family on trips to like different countries. Whenever there's like a little bit of like a financial fuck up, I got it. Like I'm the one where, like recently it was my dad's birthday. I just bought him like an iPhone, like a new phone, because his phone was like fully cooked. Like my dad's a taxi driver, and he uses like the Uber app to basically like what's it called, like track the trips and stuff. And it was just so slow, and like I haven't gotten to the point where I've retired my parents yet, but it was like just making his life easier by just buying him like a brand new iPhone. And it wasn't even like a dent in my bank account. I'll be completely honest, maybe this sounds obnoxious, but I ordered it, and when it came, I forgot that I even ordered it. That's how like insignificant of a purchase it was. And maybe it sounds egotistical, but okay, if you think it's egotistical, get fucked, like genuinely. Um, but yeah, the level after that, from what I found, I think it becomes more like it's still about other people, so it's no longer about myself, because obviously if I was happy with a few K, I'll be happy now in terms of like having your basic needs met. But it's sort of like the fulfillment side of things, where I've done it for myself. Like I've made the money and everything for myself. I've sorted my family out. Now it's like, what next? And in my head, it took me like a while to get this, but I think it genuinely is teaching. Like I've been coaching for in terms of just like teaching. Honestly, I've been doing it for like my whole life. I was always that kid where I was quite well off academically. Like I was generally just smarter kid, and it would always be me before like a exam where I'd be basically teaching the entire fucking course, not the course, but like the term content right before the exam, just to my friends. Like I'd be drawing it all out, and after the exam, it was such a wholesome feeling because they'd all tell me like, "Oh, that question came up, and you taught me it, and I got the question right because of you." So I think I've always just naturally been a teacher, and I've enjoyed the feeling of someone benefiting because of me. And I naturally did that with editing. I'd be in free Discord servers. Like I remember it was Finzar's Discord server. Some of you might know him, Finzar on YouTube. Amazing editor. I love the guy. Fuck, he's also my friends now. But besides the point, it's like the guys I look up to is like we follow each other now. It's cool. But I feel so fucking sporadic in this video. But I'm just really excited to talk about this concept. But essentially, it became more of this thing where I'm trying to teach others and seeing editors that grow and seeing the benefit that my help does, like seeing like, the tangible results of what I teach them into practice, it just helps me sleep at night, bro. Like it genuinely makes me so fulfilled when I get guys that like they'll take on my advice. I know this isn't any actionable advice in this video, so I guess I'm just yapping this video. But in my other videos, I give like more hard advice, and having guys like comment or having guys DM me or having guys share wins of like, oh yeah, I implemented this and I got this client on. Oh, I bought my dad this. I bought my mom this. I had this experience where I was able to pay for this, and it's like, it's shit like that. That's just, it keeps you alive, man. And it's almost like that concept of like a self-transcending purpose. So self-transcending basically means something bigger than you. And on this Morocco trip, I sort of had that vision of, I think I want to build like a fucking empire, straight up, like an empire that just takes over YouTube. I've basically taken over any niche that I've gotten into. Whenever I get into one, I know how to get the biggest creators in there. And whenever I coach someone, they get the biggest creators in there. Like there's this guy I coach, his name's Garfield. He started with like just editing for basically nobodies. He got into the finance niche, he ends up hating it. And there are some people that love it, some people that hate it. He was just the one of them that hated it. He wanted to get into the documentary niche. Literally, he was struggling to get into documentary niche. I think it was within like 4 or 6 months. It was like around that time. He's working with the largest documentary creators in the world right now. He's working with like Internet Anarchist and like there's a few others. I'm not in the documentary niche, but like basically he tells like he works with the largest guys in the world in his niche, and he loves the videos he does, and he gets paid well for it. And then there was another guy I was coaching. Well, in fact, we'll talk about Evos. Evos is one of the guys I used to coach him about a year and a half ago, and he's now basically become like my right hand man because of how much progress he's made. He's basically taken over the Minecraft niche. Whenever he posts something like a preview of his work, basically the entire niche, the entire industry moves towards that style. It's so crazy to see. Like he'll, there's a 3D style that's going around right now. A lot of people don't know this, but like Evos was the one that started that. He made it one day. He posted it literally within like a few days. There were just so many copies of him, and they were like some were tagging, some weren't. But within like a month, his style became the style of Minecraft. And then when he made another style change, everyone moved to it within like a few days, and he's basically become the industry leader. So we've conquered documentary, we've conquered Minecraft, and then it's like there's thousands of niches. A lot of people think that they can find the perfect niche and then they'll make money. In all honesty, every niche has money. I promise you, you can make good money in gaming, you can make good money in like fucking crypto videos, you can make money in finance videos, you can make money in self-improvement, you can make money in gaming. Bro, I know people making money in like VR tube gaming, like VR tubers where it's like, you know how you're seeing me in person right now? Imagine I had like these little trackers all over my body, and the computer would put like a fucking anime character in front instead of watching me. That's what VR tubers are. Some weird ass niche, but there's guys like that make a crap ton of money and just they get to the top of their industry and they make good money. The way you make good money isn't by finding the perfect niche; it's by picking a niche and getting to the top of that. And I think my goal now is basically to raise the fucking killers of every single niche. I want to raise the editors. I want to teach editors to become so good that it becomes impossible for them to not make money. Because I've done it for myself, I've done it for others, and it's become like this repeatable thing where I know when there's an editor that wants to do work, like I'll be honest, I've never been able to get an editor who doesn't want to work to be able to work, like motivation side. Like short-term motivation, yes, but if you fundamentally don't like editing, it's very hard to help you make money editing. But when there's a guy that wants to actually make it in editing, I've found like sort of a reliable way to get him to the top of his niche, which is always nice. And I just keep having this vision of my people, like you, being with us, and we just have guys in the niches that they want, and we just conquer every single niche. Like, does that not just sound cold? I don't know if is it just me, but like we all love our lives. We all like we not only take over the niche and we fulfill ourselves financially and stuff, but we're enjoying it too, and the creators are happy. And I was thinking, like, is this kind of sad? Because when you think about it, by building this sort of empire, by having this sort of movement where you are getting into the top of the niche for every single niche with like a ton of guys. So just imagine like hundreds of editors that are learning from me, and we all have our own niches that we're working in, and we all dominate. That means that anyone that's outside of our like empire, they are lost of clients. Because naturally, that's how it works. Like when sure there are some creators that have multiple editors, but generally, if a creator finds an editor who's better than another one, he will pick that editor. And this editor that was kind of shit will not have that job. So he's stuck with the low-paying clients, the shitty guys, the guys that don't value him, the guys that make him stay up all night, and it's like they get kind of fucked. And is that a sad thing? Yeah, it kind of is. Like that kid that wanted to make it in editing, but because he wasn't able to learn from us, because he wasn't sort of part of the winning side, he lost that opportunity. And sure, it sounds like a small thing of like, oh, you lost an editing job, but it's like for a lot of us, we don't want to work like 9 to 5. But I don't think anyone really wants to work a 9 to 5. If you're sort of around my age, we've all sort of realized that our parents telling us to go uni was kind of stupid. And I'm in a fortunate enough position where my parents didn't want me to go down editing. In fact, they hated it. Got my fucking ass beat because of it. And they wanted me to go uni, but I sort of rebelled against it. Got my ass beat, but now because I'm making the money and I saw my parents out, like they sort of understand like, oh, this online thing actually works. But if you're around my age, you probably understand like, yeah, it is kind of bullshit to go uni. 9 to 5s are kind of crap. And for the guys that don't make it in anything, a lot of the time they have to go uni and they have to get a normal job. And it's like, yeah, some people have to work it. That's cool. Like it keeps our society running. But if you're watching content like this, you probably don't want to be that type of guy. So yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Like it's only the best editors that actually make it. But there's going to be editors that want it that don't because they don't have the information available to them, and I kind of want to take responsibility for that. I think my next move in terms of my own personal sort of path it is that third stage. So you have me working for myself, which I fulfilled, me working for my family, which I fulfilled. Now I want to do something where it's fucking huge, and within the next year, I want to take over the YouTube space, not by myself, but with guys like you, where you want to edit and you're going to take basically all the high paying jobs in any niche you want, not out of malice. That's funny. Not out of malice, that's my name. Not out of like hatred or in an undignified way, because I've been journaling a lot about this while I was in Turkey and before. Not in Turkey, in Morocco. I don't want it, when I help people grow, I don't want it to be in like a cheating, disgusting, like, oh, stealing type of way. When we dominate the industry and we take high paying clients and we leave basically anyone else with no high paying clients left, maybe you're in a situation like that right now. We're not going to do it in a hatred way. We're going to do it in a way of like fucking honor. We're going to dominate purely because we're just better in every single way possible. Our editing is smoother, our sound design is better, our workflows are faster, our negotiations are better, we're better at communicating, we're better at managing deadlines, we're better at not burning out, we're better at like sort of like having social life so our creators actually feel valued. Like we're just better in every single way. So when one of our boys in our empire are put directly against some crappy guy who's trying to make it in editing and he has no idea how to do any of these skills, who do you think the creator is going to choose? It's not even like we beat up this guy. Like, the guy just wasn't as good as us. What do you want us to do? Like, just become worse? So I think there's editors out there, and maybe you're one of them. You can comment if you are. I don't know if there is anyone watching up to this point. But if you are someone that wants to make it in editing, not even because it's just like, oh, money, whatever, but because you don't want to work a shitty job and you kind of like editing, I think you'd really enjoy it. And I just kind of made this video as a promise to you, as I want to lead this, and I kind of made this video as a personal responsibility thing that for the next year, I'm going to dedicate my life to this. I did this for myself when I decided I'm not going to go to, not go to uni, but I decided I'm not going to take full-time education seriously anymore, even though I was like a top student for most of my life. So I could get into editing, I made that promise to myself. And I recorded a video just like this. It never got put online, but I had videos like this where I told myself I'm never going to work a normal job. And I guess this is the video where I tell you I'm going to lead this empire, and if you want to join us, I welcome you. I'm going to teach you how to be a great fucking editor. But yeah, bro. This is a bit of a yap session. I hope there's at least something that you took away from this, whether it be from how to sort of make money editing, um, how to think about niches and why you shouldn't really chase a niche. But yeah, hope you find it useful, bro. I love you.